Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Director's Garage Live Hump Day Happy Hour Hangout. Got to check my. I was tweaking right up until airtime. I'm hearing some foldback, and I'm wondering if I've got some volume up in this room that I shouldn't have. Or maybe I just got these headphones up louder than they normally are. Yeah, by the way, we're rocking the new Caldera, the revised Caldera. We can talk about that if you want. Had some mixed opinions about these online, but generally favorable, and I think they're fabulous. I think that Zach did a fabulous job on these. Super excited about them. Welcome to Wednesday. Cheers, everybody. I guess I don't have volume up anymore. I think the headphones were just a little loud because I had the pot set wider open for last week's E3, and the E3 always needs. I'm a little dark, aren't I? How can we fix this? How can we fix this? Let's just maybe do a little of that. There we go. That's better. That's more Hollywood. Hey, everybody. Got some things going on today. Going to talk about an album. I've got some viewer photos. One just came seconds before air. That's why I was scrambling to get live, because I want to get... It's hard for me to be live on the air and start transferring files to laptops and stuff. And Neil Snyder sent us something, and I can't do. It's like doing this, you know. It's not that easy when you're live trying to think of things to say and moving files around at the same time. I'm not that gifted. I'm going to talk about some music today. I've got an artist for you guys to check out. I've got, we can talk about the revised Caldera, certainly, or the Atrium, which is still right back here. I'm not in a good position for next week's show as of now. I don't have a finished script. Things got real busy, and I had a really rough day yesterday working regular work. And it just all was not, it's not aligning well for next week yet. So we'll see. It may be 2 weeks before we get the next full episode out. And that will be, for sure, the Zale HM1 review. Yes, everybody, this little bugger back here is finally going to get the... Oh, I'm missing a light. Don't you guys tell me my AC/DC... Hang on. Oh, God. I am not myself if AC/DC is not rocking our world. Hang on. There we go. I love that thing. I bought that. That's a box set from their album from a couple years ago called Power Up. And I have a power source for it to have it power up, and probably getting sued right now for copyright or whatever. Yeah, I gotta have my AC/DC light on. It's just part of the show. It's part of the core of this show. God, it's stupid. Yeah, but I want to talk about some music that I fell into last weekend. I went on a dive, and it just caught me. Got an appointment tomorrow for the shoulder. That's going to be good. Hope y'all are doing well today. Holly's in and out like crazy today. We've had some plumbing work going on the house. Plumbing work, folks. Plumbing. Getting a pump to move hot water around the house, and they fixed some toilets and fixed a bathtub that wasn't working here at the new place. All the things. But just got done with that. That's finishing up right now, right this minute. Yeah, and super happy with the Caldera. Did a lot of Caldera listening, obviously, for obvious reasons. Also some E3, because I've got to start moving into review mode on those soon. But I need to do some more, just spend some time with it listening. So thanks to Rodrigo and all the guys over at Audio 46 for getting those to us. Had an outstanding... Oh, here's another thing we're going to talk about. And let's lead with that. Hangover Hangout. Last Saturday, we had our latest Hangover Hangout, and my guest fell through at the last second, and I was going to have Jim Moulton, who's the brother of John Moulton, who's the founder of Noble Audio. And we were in talks until late on Thursday trying to figure out how we could get him in. Thing was, Jim was in Singapore for CanJam, and that would have put us, he would have had to have gotten up at 1 a.m. to join us. And he's like, it's just not going to happen. It's like, I can't do that. And I have to have a full day on the floor of this show. It's just too much. So I thought, nuts. And I didn't have anybody for the Saturday Hangout. And then out of the blue, another Moulton, Kai, who I think is John's son, shows up, just dropped in. He told me that he had a sick wife and a sick kid. Drops all of this information on us about the upcoming Noble releases. I was so thrilled. It was such huge takeaway from that episode, that live stream. And I was so happy. Everybody got to ask questions, and he had answers for most of everything they asked. Showed us. I'm gonna give you a look at this. I can reveal this because they've been out. They were at Singapore. It says they're getting huge response on their first ever over-ear headphone, which is called the Apollo. Open with preview. There it is. All right, hang on. I'm going to give it to you. This is it, guys. This is your first look. You would have seen this on Saturday if you'd joined us on the live stream. I just like having people in there, and it's so cheap to join that. It's $3. I mean, that's cheaper than a movie rental on Amazon, for gosh sakes. But here we go. Here's what he sent me. While we were doing the live stream, he sent this to me. This is the new, the full look of the Noble Apollo. It is an ANC Bluetooth headphone using the latest Bluetooth standards. It's got, and get this, it's got an 80-hour battery life without using ANC. It's got a 60-hour battery life if you use the noise cancellation on it. 60 hours on these things. It's a hybrid driver, planar magnetic for the mids and the highs, and a dynamic driver for the bass. He said these things are using other people's words. He was very clear. They're Focal Batiste killers. They're Batiste killers. They are comparing very favorably at a cost of $650. They're not even available for pre-order yet. They're still finalizing some final things about the cups, but they're super excited. I'm super excited. I'm going to get an order in on these right away. I want to hear them. I want to use them at work. I have a heavy need to have noise canceling, good noise canceling. 6 microphones in this thing to do all the noise cancellation and the Bluetooth talk and all that. But he shared us. I went to the website as he was talking about him, and I showed off that little sliver of a shot they've got up on the Noble website, and he said, I can do you one better, and he sent me this. Oh, that was so cool. And I can push in on these things. I can show you some stuff, but it looks like a fabric out here on along the outer cup, premium materials. These things have a lot of metal on them, he said, and they're not crazy heavy. They come in right between the Batiste and the Sennheiser Momentum over ear. But look at the materials. You know it's going to have that Noble finish on it. I am thrilled. I'm a fanboy, and I know that it sounds like I'm shilling for Noble, but I don't have any deal with Noble. I don't get paid for anything. I don't get, like, it's just me as a fan of their attention to detail and next level quality. That's why I push them quite a bit. I just think they're fantastic. Look at those things, man. And I like that they're willing to talk to me. So that's all it is. So that is going. That's what's up with. We did a deep dive on these. We also talked about the Triumph that's coming out. There's another Focus coming out, another lesser priced IEM wireless, true wireless IEM coming out. Besides the Triumph is a headphone that I really want to get in here. Be super excited to hear those. Yeah, so it wound up my crashing into the dumpster fire of a live stream on Saturday turned out to be one of the best sessions we've ever had. And then we got done and everybody like dropped like their favorite music that they've been listening to lately. And I took so many notes. I did so many little listening things. I didn't like all of it that everybody recommended, but it's so fun to share what you're into, you know, and what's exciting you about what you're listening to. So cool. So yeah, that was from the Hangout on Saturday. The next one, it will be next month, unless I move it up for some reason. If I've got somebody booked that wants to come on and talk about something, we'll do it earlier. That's how it goes. But really happy with where that live stream, and it's interactive. That's what I love about it. It's like I'm not just talking to you like I am here. We see everybody, and so yeah, if you join over at Patreon, I'll send you links to all this stuff. You can watch all the live streams yourself. I've got them online so that folks can check out what we're doing. I'm still playing with like the production of it. I mean, it's still kind of raw. It's just like a raw Zoom meeting, but it's still cool if you're looking for some extra content to check out. And we've had the guys from Auroris Audio. We had Zach from ZMF one episode. We had Ryan from Mod House. And then I've had Kai Moulton from Noble this last time. So we're getting good guests over there. So excited about what's happening, and it costs like next to nothing, and that's what I love. I love that it's it's the cost of a cup of coffee, from less than a cup of coffee from Starbucks these days. So that's the live stream stuff. This episode, not doing too well on views, but I was very happy with how it came out, and I'm very thrilled with this headphone, as it was obvious on that episode. And they still smell new. They still have that polished smell to them, like fresh off the production line. Oh, I can't get enough of it. That's good stuff. That's where we're at. I'm going to talk about music in a few minutes. We've got some viewer photos to show off. Let's get into the chat for a few minutes. And then, I don't know if this is going to be the longest live stream ever, but that's sort of what's happening around here. Like I said, no progress on the next episode, unfortunately. But yeah, that's where we're at. Neil Snyder, I did, and I got him. I jammed it through just before I pushed the live button. Got your photos. We'll take a look at your TV setup. John Swenton, hello. Sweatin, hello, hey. Dirk Connor, welcome. Welcome, boys. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping by. Happy Hour Hangout. It's a good time here. I think the Calderas really turned out beautiful, says Dirk Connor. Yeah, me too. These things are just beautiful to hold. They're beautiful to look at. Very just, And I love the collab aspect of it. I gave Zach an idea and I said, run with it. Do your thing. Here's what I think. And that was kind of the, I don't know if I would do anything different myself on these, but I loved that it came from Zach's creativity. That's part of collaboration, is not always getting exactly your opinion, but getting input, and I love that. I do that in video all the time. When I collab on a project, I don't always want it my entire vision. I don't like that. I like to have other people have say in the final outcome. And I think what it does is it brings out a team aspect. if somebody comes to me, there's sometimes somebody come to me with an idea for a shoot, something that I'm working on, and they'll say, hey, I got this idea, and what do you think of this? And I'll go, I know, because it's not working for me. It's like it's something that's wrong. But most of the time, I'll say, sure, go for it. Show me what it is. And, I may still have to nix it, but because of a reason that's obvious to me for what I know the production needs. But most of the time, even though it's not my idea and the way I would do it, I'll let it go, because I want that collaboration. I want the people I'm working with to have a stake in the final outcome. Because if I don't, they're not as willing to come forward with ideas. And I've learned to give up some of my autonomy, some of my authority on things, and incorporate other people's opinions and views, because you get a much more unique product. I love I love collabing like that with people. I never want it all my way. I always want other input. And that's kind of what this is. This is a result of the house of Zach taking my original idea and running with it. And that's, to me, is exciting. That's part of what I love. Okay, so Calderas turned out beautiful. Yes, just what I needed after a chaotic night at work. Cheers. I'm sorry, man. My chaotic day was yesterday. I had a rough day yesterday. So I'm just like so glad we're past it. Pulled it off. Everything came out great. But man, the journey. The journey was not the reward yesterday. Listening to a little Orange Goblin while listening to me. I gotta check that out. I don't know what Orange Goblin is, and I'm gonna put it in my list. All right, there we go. Hey everyone, it's 10.99 high-rise Tidal Day. Yeah, Tidal dropped their rates. I'm so glad I stuck with them. You get the same thing that I was getting for $20 for now $10. And I think that they have a good service. They have a ton of music there, more than I'll ever get to. This one is early, Wayne Hines says. Morning all, because where he's at. How are you going? How are you going with your tinnitus machine? Because his tinnitus is flaring up. Sadly, after 2 months of doing daily exercises, if you guys don't know what we're doing, I was doing this thing with a band, and I showed this off on a live stream about 2 months ago. And it's this new treatment for tinnitus where you put this band on and you listen to tones. You tune your phone to the pitch of your tinnitus. And then you listen to tones, and it plays these sweeps of tones that are around the frequency of your tinnitus while it buzzes your wrist. And the idea is it was supposed to train your brain. It doesn't work on everybody. They have had a 60% success rate, and it's supposed to train your brain to ignore that tone. And it didn't work. As much as I'd love to say, I'll tell you guys about all the success I had with this amazing thing. It was called Neosensory, and it didn't work for me. After 2 months, I couldn't deny it. The tinnitus is still there. So I guess I'm in the 40% who it doesn't work for. I'm sorry to report that. I'd love to tell you that I don't even notice my tinnitus anymore, but it's there. It's always there. There is another version of this out there. There's a long waiting list for it, but I did get an email from them saying, hey, if it doesn't work out for you, contact us. But it's a thing that you bite on. And it's another thing where you do this treatment every day. You play these tones for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it's supposed to make your brain forget it. But I can do that, but it's much more expensive. The nice thing about Neosensory is it was $250, and to rent the thing, or you can pay $1,000 and buy it. Well, I rented it, and it just didn't work for me, so I sent it back. But this new one, if I want to go to the next level and try this other version of it, and I'm sorry, I don't have it at hand, so I can't tell you what the name of it is, but it's another version, and it's one of these you bite on, and they've had an even higher success rate. Sorry, I gotta go. So I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. I don't think I can. I don't think it's up on my. I have so many web pages for like things that I'm meaning to follow up on, but and it's not here. But that one's like $4,000 is like the entry fee. So you got to be. It's a much steeper commitment to get into it, so to try for that trial. And that's something that I'm not in a position to do right now because I've got other things going on. We just did the plumbing on the house. Hipster Cow, howdy gents, how you doing? Past Zoom session was fun. Crazy that Audio 46 announced the Onyx immediately after Kai was on. I know, that was so cool. I mean, it was just, it was such a great session. I got so much out of that, and it was so fun to talk to him about where these things come from and the way he got in the family business. It's just fabulous. Just what a fabulous session. So good. Gentlemen, says Nephilim, my brother from another mother. How you doing, buddy? He officially did it. He brought more shit into his life. He got the Kara preamp, and he just finished hooking it all up late last night, and it looks awesome. Michael, I'll send you some pics. Please do. Please do. I'm super excited about that. Brian says, have you listened to the Atrium Closed? No. He has one on order and trying to decide if ZMF, on a ZMF open back to pair with it. Trying to decide between an Atrium open and a Caldera open. Appreciate the advice. Well, I've not heard the Atrium Closed, so I don't know where the bass is. I'm going to assume it's somewhere around the Atrium. And somebody asked me about this the other day. They said, what's going on? What's the difference between, would you recommend the Atrium or the Caldera to somebody, open backs? And I said, well, it depends on what you're going for. The genius of... Oh, it's all wired in. Hang on. Hold on. Nothing says ratings like me turning my head on everybody and showing you my bald spot. The genius of this headphone is how well it does. It's a great all-rounder. And it took me a while to find the right pads for these. And for me, it's the suede. The suede, I don't even know what other thing, but the second I put the suede perforated pads on here, this headphone changed dramatically and got a whole bunch more interesting to me because the high end opened up, and I was using fenestrated leather pads on these, and it was dousing the highs for some reason, which runs counter to my understanding of sound waves. And if anything, the fenestrated leather should have accentuated the treble, but it didn't, and these did. So this opened up the top end and gave these an airiness up top that made them much more pleasurable. And what I like about the Atrium is they're a better all-rounder. They'll work with all kinds of music. The Caldera, you got to start thinking about like higher-end files with this and more audiophile listening. So like if I'm just playing music and stuff, this will call attention to a poorly recorded track. This will call attention to stuff that's, 44.1, 16. It sounds a little more rough around the edges compared to if you put on a nice 96-24. Even though somebody said on Facebook the other day, you can't hear the difference. I can. And I just go with what I can hear, But these are these are more of a show. They both are, nice thing is, both of these are easy to drive, but this headphone is more like you can put anything on and it's going to sound great. Put it through any gear and it's going to sound great. This is a little more sensitive of a headphone. This headphone likes a little better amplification. It scales more. So they're a little, it's a different angle on things. These will scale with better gear. These things sound exponentially better when you start putting more power down. However, they don't require a lot of power to make them sound good. It's just that they get better when you drive them better. Which is unlike the Sysfara, which sounds like until you really give them exceptional power. And they love a lot of power and reserve in the bank to call upon. They do great things, but they're a pain in the ass. These aren't a pain in the ass, but they are, they will scale with you. And these are more like you can plug them into anything and they're going to sound great. But these are a little more technical. They're a little more technically focused. These are a more smooth headphone, more all-round experience. Pretty much anything sounds good in this. These are a little, just a touch pickier, but they give you detail that these don't have. So it's up to you. It's I would never tell you, make sure you're listening to this stuff yourself. Part of the fun of this hobby is to check this stuff out for yourself and don't just believe what some moron on YouTube like myself tells you. Make sure you're hearing this stuff for yourself in person because you want that experience. You need to hear this stuff for yourself. But yeah, that's my take on it. It's like the Caldera is more of a show and they're more of a wow factor with these, but they're less all-roundy, and like I can listen to anything on these. If I'm just skimming tracks late at night or have something on soft, it's like these are the headphone that's most likely on my head most of the time. But if I want to hear, really get into something special, I'll go to this, or I'll go pull out one of the other headphones, depending on what I'm feeling like and what the music is telling me. One of the recommendations we got over the weekend was for Richard Clapton. That came out of Saturday's meeting, the live stream. And I put them on, and this was a perfect headphone for it. It's that 70s kind of rock sound. It's not the brightest stuff in the world, and this is a perfect headphone for that. I wound up stopping what I had on my head, and I don't even remember what it was. It was the E3 or what it was I was listening to, and I went back to that. Ken Workshop saying hi. Hey, Ken, if you're still here, hopefully you're still here, let's go take a look at what the project Ken's been working on lately. Don't move the photo. Here we go. This is what Ken's been doing. I love this. This is so fun. Ken has been building cables, and he showed off his braiding skills. He bought some high-end cables and raw cable, and then he tapes them down and he does the elaborate weave on them. I'm assuming this is silver material, and just inches it out, continues with the weave, inches it out, and comes up with a beautiful braided pair that splits apart. It's an 8 down to 4. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then he puts the tips on it and wires them all up. But and there you go. There's the final with the connectors on it. But he's building his own cables. How about that? How's that for a project? Love that, man. And a great weave. Great job on the braid. So nice. Makes me want to try that stuff for myself, We don't have to pay $2,500 for a silver braided cable. You can do it yourself and save yourself some cash and have the joy of doing it yourself too. Very cool, man. Ken, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that series of photos. That's awesome. That's awesome. So that's one of our viewer photos, and we're also going to take a look at something that Neil sent over, Neil Snyder, viewer. So cool, man. Always admire what Ken just like kills it on these DIYs, man. He just next levels everything. It's so awesome. Gene Fruit, Michael, what is your take on the Woo WA5LE? Still love it, and it's still a top high-end tube amp. It's in the upper echelon. Is it as good as the WA33? Well, they say no. I don't know. I haven't A-B'd them side by side. I do know that the guys at Abyss still put that amp in top tier for playing their headphones, and that amp is long in the tooth. But it's tube technology. And that's the thing that I remind everybody about all these amps. We talk about, I brought up the Dark Star that somebody was selling a while ago, and the Cavalli Liquid Fire, that gorgeous glowing red tube amp. That tech doesn't change. And so a great amp 5 years ago still sounds outstanding today because the tech hasn't moved. The tech is the exact same. The principles are the same. They might do different wiring. They might do things a little differently, but the fundamental quality of the amp will not change. That is a constant because there's no shocking new like driver for an amp. An amp is an amp. The way we're amplifying things today is the same way we were amplifying shit back in 1970. Nothing changed. Some material qualities changed, some of this and some of that, but the fundamentals of amps are identical to where they were. Some amps sound great to me on certain headphones. Some amps sound meh to me. But for Ryan Dietz was the one who said, before you go dismissing it, put my Mod House on your WA5LE. I think you're going to be really surprised. And damn if he wasn't right. Like, that headphone just sings on the WA5LE. It's the best sounding. Got an $8,000 amp here from Zale, and I'm telling you that Mod House sounds better on my WA5LE. It does, to my opinion anyway. It's my opinion. So good. So yeah, my opinion is it's outstanding. This is the black cap model where they put all the fancy caps in it, and you know, like I had them build it up. The only thing I didn't do, and I probably should have done at the time, was had them put the preamp on it. They do a version of this called the WA5 that has preamp outputs on it, and I thought, I don't really have a need for that. Like, I'm not going to my stereo with this. I don't really have a purpose for it. I've since rethought that. I thought I probably should have had them do that back then. But at any rate, it's a phenomenal headphone amp, and it sounds great. Single-ended, can't run a balanced on it. I mean, it has a spigot for it, but it's not working in balanced. It's working in single-ended, unbalanced. But yeah. Beautiful Caldera. Yeah. Raves about these Calderas, man. Just thrilled. Just thrilled, man. Just thrilled. I still smelling them. Just did change the pads on them. I'm playing with pads on this Caldera now. That's one of the things I've been doing since I got them. Calderas are the trickiest of the ZMFs to change pads on, by the way, because of the screen system. It's not, I'm going to regret doing this. Do I do it? Yeah, why not? It's live. Most of the ZMF headphones are a carved groove in wood, and those are easy to mount. And I'm pissed off at myself for not doing this because it's a pain in the ass. You need two hands, and you got to kind of do this stretch thing where you bind. I don't know if it's going to show up with a black T-shirt over my face. You kind of got to start at the top, and you hold it in place, and then you grab another part of it, and you work your fingers around holding it in place while you add another stretch of the inner ear cup, and then you get it all the way to the end and you work it around, and sure as shit the top is going to come out on this. It just does. It's like putting a bicycle tire on a rim. That's what I equate it to. But on the Caldera it's tougher because the plate is actually a carbon fibre plate. Yeah, I said that wrong just for fun. And getting these things on is a bugger on this particular headphone. This is the hardest of the ZMF headphones to change pads on. See, I'm demonstrating it live. I'm going to show my acumen. Oh, so bad. I'm so close, though. I'm one little bit away. And this is usually when it all falls apart, kids. There. I think it's on. But, oh, it's barely on. And I probably have to rotate that pad. Yeah, I don't have them aligned right. And it's hard to rotate on this, too. And they want to jump out. So, yeah. And the way you tell you got it on right is the seams are on the bottom. Seams are at 6 o'clock. That's how the orientation of the pads. Anyway. Yeah. There you go. He's going to call it Sand Desert Coffee Gold. It's gold. It's fantastic. So happy. Good Pixel Productions. Love these days kicking back and watching some DG. Thank you, Michael. Hey, man. Cheers to you. Where's my drink? Scotch. The water on the house is turned off right now. The guy's doing some work. So I've got 2 tankards in standby, but after that, guys, we're in trouble. That's why it will be a shorter stream today. Can anyone recommend some Atmos mixes from Tidal? I don't know. Somebody do it in the chat. I don't play with Atmos at all. His Sennheiser Momentum 4 is Dolby Atmos compatible. We'll be exploring those albums. That's cool. That's cool. That's a whole dimension. You're getting a new dimension. And I just lost where I was in the chat. Oh, there we go. Oh, I got some chat to get through. Whew. Neil Snyder says he had... Let's look at Neil's thing in a second, too. He had shit... he hates shit with a passion. But his younger son, he's 52, bought a shit skull phono preamp. And he must say, it's fantastic. It does a good job of getting the most out of vinyl. He loves it. Well, that's fantastic, man. It's fantastic. We'll take a look at Neil's... We'll take a look at Neil's setup here. He sent me some photos. Just a couple of his TV listening station. Let's take a look. I haven't seen these. I just sent them around. So let's take a look. Yeah, there it is. Oh, nice. Nice. Here we go. This is Neil's. It's got the Aun S17. I just looked this up the other day for something. And is that a Bartok? Or I mean, is that a DCS? What the hell is that? I have got to, oh, I did a nice special thing for, I got to get down here and take a look. No, it's an Eversolo. Sorry, this little tag down here, it's the same tag that they have on DCS stuff. So unless I zoom in close, that's the Eversolo. Oh, that's the A8. That's the new one. Neil, what did you do? Guys, that's, yeah, and there it is in action, but that is going to be like my weakness. I'm afraid that one of these is going to land on my desks at some point because I can't resist not having it. I feel the same way about that Zach's new amp he came up with. I think that thing's just so cool looking. I want it on my desk. This thing, I think it's totally redundant to my Lena. It's the exact same thing as my Lena. So I have no real technical use for it. I just think it's sexy. Guilty. Okay, now I got to figure out how do I get back out of this. I may have to relaunch. Let's redo this to get to that second photo. Sorry. Go back to full screen. Here's it all lit. Here it is all lit up. Oh, and he's got the fake VU meters on the LCD. That's so cool, man. That's just so cool. Ah, guys, you gotta love this stuff. If you're not geeking out on this stuff, what are you geeking out on, man? That's just bitching. Love the ring. Look at the ring around the volume knob. Yes, please. Yes, please. Man, that's great stuff. Thank you, Neil, for sending that to us. And if you want to send your rig and get it oogled at on the air, you can send a little email to me at directorsgarage@gmail.com. Here comes Howley. Howley alert! Howley alert! Hey, buddy, you're blocking my view. You're spoiling my... Hey, bud. Do you want to come here? You want to get out of the way? I knew this would happen one day. Yeah, he's on the monitor bridge that's right below the camera lens. There we go. Oh, he's looking for a place to lay down. Come here, bud. Come on. At least he's not giving you his little winky eye, his little winky butthole at it. Oh, that's fun. That is so fun. I love this cat. He just cracks me up. He literally dismembered a rat last night and left it right outside the door. At least he didn't bring him in and dismember him. He had dinner. He went to town. Now he's just laying down right under the camera. You might see some ears at the bottom of the camera, at the screen, out of focus. Hey, buddy. He just likes hanging around Dad sometimes. That's amazing. John says, oh, it's an inside conversation. Yellow point would be good. Mr. Dynamite, you are the man, bro. Appreciate what you do. Cheers, Mr. Dynamite. That's explosive right there. Hipster Cow says, how many shit products does that put you at? He's still rocking the Lokius. He's still here for now. Ken, we showed off your amazing winding techniques. Yeah, pure silver. Not expensive, only as expensive if you buy retail from fancy companies. Yeah, we're going to have to hit Ken up for his sources on this stuff. Of course, he doesn't want to give them up because they're going to run out. JTB fell in love with his Caldera like an old girlfriend. Loved the looks, but anything else eventually starts getting old and stale. JTB, say it ain't so. He fell out of love with his Caldera. JTB, where's it going from here, man? Where is it going? The Caldera. You fell out of love with the girlfriend. Oh. The shame. You're going to be doing a walk of shame, JTB. That's all good, man. John Sweeten is a band, or is that a band or a track? It looks great. Yeah, here's something that was interesting. You know the band Yellow? They did a song, it's like a techno German group, and they did a song called Wubba Wubba a few years ago. It's really good. It's a really entertaining video. But they announced that they're going to release their whole catalog on reel to reel, and I'm like, not sure I need that. Like, it's not like Vintage Miles or something like that. It's Wubba Wubba. It's Yellow. But they are coming to, they're going to release it on reel to reel. That's why I'm kind of on the fence about, that sounded like I was Italian there for a second. I'm on the fence about the White Stripes reel to reel release. Because I'm not sure it's something I want on reel to reel. I have a need for on reel to reel. Like album streaming, just fine with me for that. I don't know. Got to revisit that album and see if it's something that I think reel to reel would light up or not. Like, I have reels, boys. I've spent some cash, but it's like Jazz at the Pawn Shop, you know, like recordings that are just on point. I'm sure I need that with White Stripes. But it's free. I'm glad you can get it. I'm glad you can get it on reel to reel. Analog Productions, they sell it, but it's $500. Like, for a White Stripes album? I don't know. Got to think about it. It's got to grow on me. I got to warm to that concept. It's not an immediate yes. And there's still stuff from Hermolia Records, which Christian helped me get, in Germany to the States. Had a whole production line going on, man. That was when I bought the Miles thing, the kind of blue on reel to reel. It was a one off the master or dub of the master. I had Hermolia did it in Italy, but they couldn't sell it direct to the States because of the licensing issues. CBS has the license for Miles, I think, in the States. Anyway, so I had to send it to Germany. He bought it in Germany, and then he shipped it to me. So it's amazing, the trip that one tape made for my pleasure. But hey, they EQ'd it NAB, so it works on my. It works perfectly on my reel-to-reel without needing any EQ at all. It's fantastic. Ken says, yeah, it's pure silver. Blah blah blah. It looks great. Where'd you buy the raw wire from? I asked that question. Ken, did you give it to us? Paid $91 from Parts Connection. Oh, I've been there. Okay, I never knew they sold wire there. I didn't think of them for wire. I was thinking of them for like capacitors and switches and shit like that. I never thought of them for just pure wire. Good idea. Very good. Nephilim, two shits, his good man. He gets. Nephilim gets two shits. Who knew? His Loki Mini and now his Kara. He's very excited about get some quality listening in. Yeah, shit makes just great stuff. They make great shit. They do. Got his tracks and CDs lined up. Can't wait. Build quality is first rate. Yeah, you get a lot for your money. It's great stuff, man. Band is yellow. Album is point. Band is yellow. Album is point. Ken Workshop says, oh, this is AliExpress. I've been buying a lot of stuff on AliExpress lately because I'm trying to rehab. I had a watch die on me, so I took it apart. These are all the parts. It's hard to see. I don't want to tip it up too much because they're all in order. But I tore this. It was a mechanical watch, so I just had just a little parts lanch. But I need to wash those, so I bought some stuff to clean the watch up. I'm going to try and put it back together and see if it'll work. I don't have high hopes for this. It's my first watch I've ever torn apart. But I was watching YouTube, and they made it look so easy, fellas. There's Holly jumping down. They made it look so easy. I'm like, I'm going to try it. But I had to get a parts washer because I need to unravel inside this tiny little thing right here. This little tiny thing is the mainspring, and I think there's a problem with the mainspring on this watch. I don't think it's ever going back together, but I'm gonna try it. Oh, guys, I do stupid things. Welcome to the Director's Garage. Great stuff there. 95% junk, 5% gold from AliExpress. Yeah, that's kind of true. I got my watch from AliExpress. This is a Chronos, $200. And I took it in because I do have one Rolex that I bought because of an ex-girlfriend. She dumped me. I took the money and bought a watch that I was going to spend on our vacation. But this is a Chronos. And I took it into a Rolex dealer because I was getting my other watch serviced. And I told him, about my love for the GMT Rolex. And he said, this is not a bad watch. He goes, this is actually impressive for $200 because it's a ceramic bezel, just like the real thing. Just saying. It's still fake. Expensive fake, but a fake. It's all I got for now, boys. Someday I'll get the real thing. Thank you so much. Appreciate the info. Very good, very good. He's got JTB. We talked about. Oh, JTB has a few shit products. He's got two Lokius, Lyre 3, Syndac, and Niche Pretus Maximus. Oh my God, which is a shit collaboration. I'm shit literate. I don't know everything. Yeah, Yellow is the band that I was thinking of. But they're coming, they reel to reel. They're putting their catalog out on reel to reel. Crazy. Yes, yellow. I got to find it now. Dang it. I'm so far behind in the chat. We're never going to get done. Okay. Guys, I completely lost where I was at in the chat. I'm sorry if I missed anything. I think I'm up higher. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Found it. Whew. Okay. Ken Workshop says 2.5 the 2.5, I'm guessing that's 2.5 meters. He paid $91. The connectors from Parts Connection were more than the cable. Might try his hand at making some. I'm gonna call Ken. Help. I took my cable apart, Ken. Just like I took my watch apart. Can't get it back together. That's awesome. JTB has serious shit in his life. Too much. This is great. I love the discussion today. You guys are killing it in the chat. Nephilim says buying his second shit product means he just took a number 2. Oh boy. Lighten it up in the chat. JTB, he's been researching a balanced amp. Maybe even a balanced all-in-one desktop for desktop use in gaming. Let me know what you decide, JTB, or where you're looking. What are you looking at? I'm very curious. ZMF pads are still easier than HiFiman to swap. Incidentally, still loving the ZMF Sysfara pads. He likes the sound and the build quality is first rate. I think I bought those. Did I buy those? Damn it. I don't remember. I think I have Dakoni pads on my Sysfara at the moment. I'm pretty sure these are Dakoni fenestrated leather. My Zale lighting up the background. So nice. Jarek says he hates swapping pads on gear. It's his worst nightmare. I know, I did it live. Never do things live that you can't replicate on your own time, man. That was a dangerous move on my part. I could have looked like a real fool there, boys. I got it in the first try. He put one of those APO 6SN7 reserve tubes in his Lyre 3, and it really took things up a notch. Appos Ray, I haven't seen those, but I have many 6SN7s. He's a bit pessimistic, but made him a believer. That's awesome, JTB. He doesn't think he can post links here, tried and failed, but if you find my email or ask Michael, put in touch, he'll share what he bought and where. Oh, totally cool. Yeah, I can put it in the show notes or something underneath afterwards. I'll go back in and edit the notes for this, and I'll put a little Ken Workshop link down there. In the, if you go click on about this video or whatever it is below, where it says more, and I put like all my stuff for sale and stuff like that. Check that out, by the way. Director's Garage sale down below in the comments. But yeah, Ken, I'll put anything you want there, Ken. Just send me an email. Jarek says he's glad that I seem to have enjoyed Richard Clapton. Which albums did you check out? Well, I went early. I went to the first couple of records, and I was just checking it out. It's got a 70s vibe to it. I thought it was cool. I had made a note on it, but I don't know where I put the note. I went, sounds like, and I wrote some notes. But I've since misplaced the note. So if a tree falls in the woods, doesn't make a sound, the answer is my notes have disappeared. I don't make a sound. Okay. Ken Workshop says, yes, Shit Scroll is fantastic. He builds DIY amps. I know, Ken. When are you going to build me one? Looked at the design, but it's solid. He could not build one for what they charge. Yeah, well, Ken, for those of you who don't know, and we've shown Ken's work, Ken, he's the guy that goes and finds the right solder. Just solder isn't good enough. We're going to find the solder that is extra special, that puts fairy dust magic inside the amp. Ken builds, like, overbuilds his amps. And I love that about him, by the way. I think it's fantastic. I fully support and toast that, drink to that, every time. Sure thing, he'll be able to track you down, Ken. That was very cute. Pep had good cat. Yes, we had a catalanche. Yes, he's a good boy. we love Howley, and his name is Howley because Howley was a stray, and he showed up on our back porch on our deck, screaming his lungs out. Don't know why, just meowing. He still meows like that to this day. He is a loud cat. Lets you know he is, wherever he is. Not great for stealth when in the land of coyotes, but he's an indoor-outdoor. I got a little cat door on the place, and he kind of comes in and out and goes out and hunts. And he's the one who brought a scorpion into the house. Not the smartest cat in the world, but he brought me a scorpion once. Good guy. But yes, the one thing I will say is our neighborhood does not have a rat anywhere near it. And Holly, he earns his keep. I keep feeding him. He keeps bringing me rats every now and then. His dislike of shit has to do with business practice, not the quality of their gear. I don't know enough about it. I never really got into it, so there you go. Michael, you forgot the part where I said I cooked a steak on top of the 17 Pro. Screaming hot. Yeah, I've got a couple of pieces of gear here that are like that. I've got a couple of pieces. I got a couple of pieces of gear that just get ridiculously hot. That the Bakoon 13R that I still have here. Nobody bought it. Nephilim says hi-fi enthusiast for their the value for shit products is insane. Yes, I think it's incredible. I just have never owned anything from shit. And whatever. John Sweeten says, does reel-to-reel sound better than vinyl? Yes, to my ears. To my ears, it does. Vinyl has inherent problems. And not all reel-to-reel sounds great. It does come down to, like, what's the tape stock? What speed was it recorded at? If you're recording at 15 inches per second, like these master tapes I have here, yeah, it's unbelievable because you're spreading all that information out. It's like, it's high res of the analog world, because you've got more tape to spread the sound out. When it plays back, you get more slices of the sound. The problem with vinyl is the inside tracks cannot, by definition, sound as good as the outside tracks on the vinyl. Vinyl degrades as the needle travels towards the middle because the needle's not traveling as far per revolution. You're not getting as much data passed. And, you've got inherent, like, rumble from records. Obviously, 45 RPM records sound better than 33 1/3 records. There's a lot of, stuff going on there. And you have to worry about needles and balancing and getting everything just right. Tape, you put it on and play it. As long as your machine's in good shape and you don't have magnetized heads, the machine's going to do its thing. So yeah, inherently tape is better than for many reasons. Tape is better than vinyl. That said, tape is just as expensive, to get into. The machines are prohibitively expensive. The tapes are prohibitively expensive. It's like going into electrostatics. It's another money pit. You're going to dump money after money after money to get the latest tapes you want, to get to hunt down the tapes. There are fake tapes floating all over eBay. There's inherent, it's got its own set of problems. But for pure sound, yeah, a tape will sound better than a record any day of the week, in my book. Okay, where was I on the chat? Curious about the Audeze S9C Pro All-in-One. That could be one. Yeah, that could be one for you, JTB. I don't know that I would go to that iFi stuff that we were looking at a few weeks ago. I'd probably tell you to avoid that. There's a lot of good options out there, though, for all-in-ones. It depends. Okay, so Neil Snyder says he bought an amp 3 years ago. It arrived defective. Talking about shit, I think. Volume knob was frozen, returned it to shit, had to pay postage back and forth, and they deducted a huge restocking fee from the credit. Oh, because you sent it back to, as in like, not to get it fixed, you send it back to them to put back on the shelf. Yeah, I think that restocking fees are rough. I think that the business should be beyond that, especially if it's something you bought new, and it's not like you had no intent of owning it. You know what I mean? Credit took 6 weeks to get. Had to get his attorneys involved to get shit refund all monies. Fair enough, Neil. That sounds like a rough bit. Yeah, it does. I'm sorry that happened. Hopefully they've changed their business practices. You don't like to hear about companies that do that. I know, like I was talking with the other day, with Dan Clark, I had the Expanse for a month, and the port for the headphone fell out. And Dan Clark, I called them. They said, send it to us. They fixed it, sent it back to me. And I think that ZMF is the same way, like with their gear. So I don't know. It's different when you get into amps, I suppose, but they shouldn't do that. That's a bad business practice. I don't like it. I don't like it. Neil says you probably could open a dispute with a bank. Yeah. Yeah, the restocking fees is just a scam. They don't want you to return anything ever. Jarek says shit has a problem history of customer service, but they've made improvements over the years. Well, that's good. He has ultra perforated ZMF pads on his Safari. Loves them. Are you doing? Is it a leather pad or is it a suede? What are you using for the material? Just curious. Neil, let me know. Derek says he still has some HE6 pads that aren't attached properly because he can't get the final part on no matter what he does. I know. I've been there, man. It's rough. Are they glued on pads? That's the other problem, is a lot of these companies are gluing on and don't let you remove. The E3 can't take the pad off, at least to my knowledge. And I was yanking on them, and they didn't seem like they were coming loose. I think it's glued in. We'll do a little bit more, and then we're gonna call it for today. I'm a little on the tired side. It's been a rough week. So some HE6 pads that aren't attached properly because he can't get the final part, no matter what he does. I think we talked about that. I read that already. Guys, I'm really getting punch drunk. Stanley Clark Band, the Message album. Oh, let me tell you about my one experience. Now, last weekend, I don't know if you guys caught the musical act last weekend, but it was an artist called Ray. And she's a hip-hop artist, which I don't normally go for. But they had it filled out with a huge band backing her. And it was so exciting that I'm like, I want to hear more of this Ray person. So I dug a little bit deeper in, and she has kind of an interesting story. And her name is spelled R-A-Y-E if you're looking her up. It's R-A-Y-E is her name. She's released nothing but EPs for 10 years until like last year. Polydor didn't think she had enough interesting music to make a full record, so they'd held her back from releasing a full album until last year. And the album was called My 21st Century Symphony, and which was released in October, and it did real well. She won like a couple of Brit Awards and things like that. I don't know if it was too late in the year to get up for the Grammys or if she was nominated for any Grammys, but And it's a traditional hip hop record, but in my opinion, it's overproduced. So why am I recommending her? Because there is a live version of that hip hop album called My 21st Century Symphony live at the Royal Albert Hall. That's what I want you guys to check out. The studio version is overproduced. It's got all the trappings of a typical hip hop record. It's overly compressed, a lot of stuff going on, and it's like it didn't stand out to me. The live at the Royal Albert Hall has a full symphony behind her. And it's like thrilling and elevated hip hop. It's on a massive scale. It sounds huge in your headphones. Her singing and her tone has everything from Amy Winehouse to Ella Fitzgerald. She does scatting, Etta James. But it's thoroughly modern. And her voice, her instrument, to me, rivals any of the great current vocalists, from Christina to Jennifer Hudson. Like, she's got a raw instrument that is sensational and can really belt and go for those notes. The album kind of explores the darker forces of our society. It's got a lot of drugs, a lot of bad exes, corporate greed, sexual predators. There's a song about that. So it's a little rougher of a subject matter, but it is a hip-hop album, so you kind of expect, rougher edges on that. But this woman can sing, guys, and I want you to check her out. Ray, it's live at the Royal Albert Hall, My 21st Century Symphony. Bring your best headphones. I started listening to this on something else. I think it was on the Atrium, and I quickly said, this is the wrong headphone for this, and I went right to the Sesfara. This needs a headphone with presence. A mod house that needs a Caldera would be a good one for it, but I went to the Sesfara with it. I was so impressed. So that's my album recommendation. That's what I was jamming to this week. I've also been revisiting YouTube concerts by The Clash and the Talking Heads. I'm on this massive Talking Heads kick right now. I can't stop when I get going on them. Nephilim says if he met Ken, he'd buy him a beer. Hell, I'd buy him more than a beer. I'd buy him all the parts for the next amp he was going to build. Mine. And a six-pack, just to get drunk while he's doing it. He's got to head out of here. I hope you watch the rest of this, Ken, and catch that. Stanley Clark Band. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Love Stanley Clark Band. Jarek Cameron says, as HE6 pads are clip-on inserts. You attach the 4 parts on the pad. He only has 3 attached, but they're definitely not correct. And the Sesfara is a pain in the ass too, because it's like they've got these tabs, and the tabs will break off if you don't have it if you're not putting them on just right. It's a pain in the butt. But that's what they do. The best ones in the world are Focal, because it's just yank them off, put them on. The Focal really has it nailed. And then Meze, which magnetic. Hello. Want to change your pads? But you got to buy their own things. So that's the only problem. Good hearing from you, Ken. Ken, cheers. Have a good night wherever you are. Reel to reel is literally the source. Yeah, well, and back in the old days, yeah. I mean, now it's all digital, but Michael, what do you think will be your next reel to reel tape purchase? He knows they're bloody expensive, but but I've got something cooking. Well, I got to look it up again. Well, I'll tell you in a second, because I Kind of Blue was my big one. That was I really broke the mold when I did that. But they have something else by Cannonball Adderley. They have something else, and then they have Take 5, Dave Brubeck, one of my favorites. I was on the show yesterday. Who knew? But you can get them in NAB or CCIR, and so. This is an NAB deck, so I get everything NAB. Someday I want to get a Studer deck that has switchable between CCIR and NAB. And there's nobody makes a box. This is something I need to talk about to Ken about. Maybe you can figure it out. Nobody makes a box that will take an output of a NAB head and convert it to CCIR, so I can just flip a switch and have the proper EQ for the deck. There's a way to do it, and I've got it figured out on my Macintosh, but it's rough. It's not exact. I'd love to have something that's exacting, having the exact right EQ for the tape. So yeah, if I did something new, it would be something else by Cannonball Adderley. That's another like core Grail album for me, and having that on reel-to-reel off of Master, yeah, please. There's also a project, a company called the Tape Project, and they have some interesting. I'm sorry, I'm just looking this up. I'm not going to put it on the thing. It's too hard for me to type up. But they have some interesting recordings that you can check out. I did get a Waltz for Debbie from them. They have Lee Morgan's The Sidewinder. That would be a great one. I got a Thelonious Monk I bought. Sonny Rollins Colossus. These are all great Blue Note recordings and Riverside recordings. Fantastic stuff. Some of those would be on the short list, but I think the Cannonball Adderley is #1 for me. They also have Willie and the Poor Boys from Creedence Clearwater. And the last time it came in, they only produced, in fact, they're available right now, but there's only 5 in stock. They're $500, but that's a great record. You know, it's Creedence Clearwater Revival off the master tape. Yeah. So that would be something that I would do. I just don't have the money for it right now. I'm just trying to, you know, get the next headphone in here. Try to sell some of this stuff. Please, guys, go down to my, buy some stuff. Make me offers. I may not take it, but I'm trying to move some product here. One guy was selling a reel-to-reel machine, a block from him on Facebook, $100, but he didn't buy it. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing to pass on, because if you want a modern reel-to-reel deck, if you want a reel-to-reel deck, you really want one that plays 15 inches per second, and not every deck will play 15 inches per second. It's the only way you can take advantage of some of these reel-to-reels, the new ones that are coming out. Because they're all done 15 inches per second. Most recording sessions were done at either 15 or 30 inches per second. The consumer playback was either 7.5 inches per second or 3.5, and most decks are 7.5 inches per second, 3.5 inches per second, or 1 3/4, which is super slow. But the quality of the playback on those suffers. You want the 15.5, or you want the 15 inches per second playback. And if you don't get it, you're kind of like, it's a fun deck to play with, but it's nothing that's going to like rock your world. You know, there you go. Ryan Dietz just talked about you earlier in the show. Cheers, Ryan. Go back and listen for your own hits. Equipment returns probably get... I was talking about your recommendation of the Woo Audio WA5. So that your name came up. Jarek says, equipment returns probably get helped along by having a YouTube channel. This channel, the only thing it's gotten me is the deal with Audio 46. I've gotten discounts on some of the stuff I've purchased, but I've never returned anything. The only thing I return is what Audio 46 sends me. But I have gotten a couple of breaks, like some percentage off on stuff I've bought. But I've never taken anything that I've been given for free, which was mostly stuff from Linsol, who hasn't sent me stuff in a while. Lillian Dang over there. That's all stuff that I've turned around and given away. I try to not take advantage of the position of the channel to get things. Yeah. Lambskin leather ultra perf. Okay, so it's the shiny kind, which I like. I try not to do that on this channel. I don't want. I'm in this for look. If the channel someday blows up and is getting 50,000 subscribers or something, 100,000 subscribers, or more. If I get to that level someday, I'm gonna turn most of it around. I'm not here to make money. It'd be great if it did someday because it's just kind of fun. And all I'm going to do is buy gear that I'm going to show off to you guys anyway and probably give half of it away. But I'm in this for the experience and for the connection. I said this in the video yesterday. This show's about connecting people. It's not about making money. It's not about getting something. It's not about, you know, ooh, look what I have that you don't. It's about connecting people and connecting passions and showing you what my passion is, but not to show off, but to get you to think about your next passion and to share it with me. It's the exchange. And the same thing with the manufacturers. It's like, what were they passionate about when they built this headphone? I want to know because I happen to like the sound. And I want to know where they're coming from and where they're going to next. I'm not here to tear anybody down, build anybody up, get something for free, get free shit. It's never been my motive. I've had offers and I've always said, no, let me at least meet you somewhere in the middle. I don't like the free thing. That makes me uncomfortable. It puts me at a different position with a manufacturer. So yeah, I have never started this channel, nor will I ever do it to get free shit. I do it for the passion of it, and I love doing videos and hopefully getting you guys excited about it too in the process about what we're doing. Ryan, my God, what a success you've been. So happy for you, Nephilim. Holy cow, the tungsten is way beyond the hype. Congrats, man. We're all rooting for you. Nephilim, it sounds like you have an order in. Dirk Cotter. Sorry, guys, I just joked. Nephilim, what are you waiting on from Ryan? I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. It's just been good fun. Dirk says his experience with returning his ship product was very easy. Well, that's good. Maybe that just means that they've changed stuff, you know. Thanks for the kind words. FIO K19 is getting a lot of praise. DAC amp, it's $1,300. It drives the Sesfara well. Interesting. I don't know that I've got to see the specs on it and what kind of power it's putting out. I have not heard anything in the $1,000 level that drives a Sesfara well. I've heard stuff in the $1,000 level that will make sufficient sound out of the Sesfara, but that headphone is so frickin' picky. Or maybe I'm just picky and I expect different things from it. It sounds very average to me until you really hook it up with the right amp. It'll make noise, it'll make sound, it'll fill your head with the things, but it doesn't sound impressive to me until you really pair it. JTB is somebody who knows the pain. There you go. A couple more guys. Wife's just texted me. I'm gonna have misdirectors in the house. I think I gotta get off the air. 8 watts of power is the big draw of the K19. So it's got 8 watts. That's a lot of power. But what's it got in reserve? How's it into how many ohms? You know, I don't know. I'd have to hear it. Listen to the Clash Sandinista album. Very interesting. I love the Clash. I just love, it's another one of those core bands that I love, like the Talking Heads. I can listen to them do anything. That whole era for me was so exciting because music was changing, and it didn't follow through. They didn't finish the assignment, but the new wave punk, alt rock stuff that came out was so exciting for those years in there, and then it kind of fizzled and it got killed by grunge. Meze lyric pads, though, those internal clips and glue on. There's an act of violence. That's the first one. Now the second one, the new one, supposed to be removable. Easy. Nephilim says, get Dave Brubeck, please. Take 5 would be killer reel to reel. You got to make a video of that. There's no excuse for not having magnetic pads at this day and age. I agree. I think that's healthy. I think that's where we should be moving. In the same way that I think that there should be, you either should have 2.5 millimeter or 3.5 millimeter mono connectors on your headphones, or you should have the ZMF Meze Audeze standard pin arrangement. These Sennheiser, Focal, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for what they do with their cables, having one proprietary cable that only your manufacturer supports. That's not acceptable in my ears. Astell&Kern just got the tungsten. Fantastic. Fantastic, man. Whoa, we're going. I got a mouse wheel that just kind of takes off in the chat sometimes, so I gotta mellow it out. Richard Clapton, decent live album, playing a lot of his hits, called Best Years of Our Lives, I believe. Okay, I'll check that out. Check out the live one. I just had this one. Michael has integrity. Damn it. It's obvious whether YouTubers are shilling for a product once the embargo ends. The only thing I've gotten was like, I got the share, I get some stuff shared for me from Noble, which is great. But, like, nobody sends me stuff to preview. Like, I'm not on the list. Zach, there's these guys who get the stuff so that the day that they're released and announced, they have a video ready to come out. I'm not on that list. I don't know who's getting on that list. It'd be a fun list to be on. But, yeah, I'm not on any of those lists. Ryan didn't have, like, send me his first mod house, like, you know, going, hey, Michael, check this out and have a video ready to go on the day that I release it. I don't know if I want that kind of pressure anyway. I'm just having fun. Happy for Ryan, but he's always open half off. Yeah. Ryan's like, I can't make this fast. I can't make these things fast enough right now. Half off. It's like I'm busting my butt just to get the normal ones out. Discounts. Jack Harmoning. This is the best thing about that headphone, by the way, is that it sounds as good as it does for their price. I mean, they're less. The mod house will cost you what the E3 costs you, and it shoots so far north of there. You know what I mean? It'll cost you what the Meze Lyric 2 will cost you. Not on the same playing field. That's the best thing. That's the best thing about them. Yark says, how long have I been married, and do I have any kids? Well, the answer is I've been married for 15 years, I think. 2007, 17, 18, 19, 20, 16 years. Of course, I knew that. And then do I have kids? No, that's how I have this show. No kids. Oh, I've had this thing up all time. What, guys? Say, dude, you just got to send me a note every now and then that says, dude, you left your Chiron on the air the whole time. Sorry. Well, now you know where to send photos, guys. Hey, we're gonna get out of here. 4:53. That's good. That's a good time to end this. Thank you guys for stopping by today. I inadvertently gave you a whole lot of my email address. Sorry. But I want you guys to send stuff to me for us to show off. And it's not to make fun of anything. It's just to have fun. It's just to have fun and take a look at stuff. So Nephilim, send me a photo of your tungsten next to your new stack of shits. That sounds great. But thanks, guys, for stopping by today. I don't know when my next episode will be. We got through everything I wanted to talk about today, so I'm excited about that. And showed off the things, all the things. And I want you to have a great rest of your week. I want you to tip your waiters on the way out the door, and please recycle those bottles. We got to clean up after ourselves because nobody else will. This place is a mess right now. I got shit everywhere. Not that kind of shit, though. All right, I'll see you guys before you know it. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go see my wife. That's how you stay married, guys. Go see your wife.